What's up everyone, 18 Holes of Misery here, and if you're here for my last video talking about what camera you should get if you want to get into golf content creation, you're here because you want to figure out what lens do I buy for golf content creation. So let's get into it. I don't want to waste any time, guys. The first point that I want to make though is that if you are here shooting with your phone, the phone is all you need, guys. Get used to just making content and posting consistently before you need to upgrade to a dedicated camera. But now let's actually talk about the lenses for actual camera bodies. When we're looking at purchasing a camera lens, you're going to notice first of all, these things are expensive. Some of these lenses are more expensive than the camera itself, and that's because good quality glass is priceless, honestly. It makes a video photo look so sharp, and you realize after using an expensive lens versus a cheap lens why the expensive lens is so friggin' pricey. They're heavy as shit. I don't know what kind of glass they use in it, but I understand. So after realizing how pricey these things are, you're gonna have to decide if you want to use a prime lens or a zoom lens. The difference between a prime and a zoom is a zoom lens has the ability to zoom in essentially. So the focal length for a zoom lens might be 24 to 70 millimeters. So you can go from a 24 to a 70 or anything in between with just zooming. That was pause. Now the opposite of that is a prime lens, and a prime lens is basically a fixed focal length. These are going to have lower apertures, and an aperture is basically just how much light will come into the lens. So most prime lenses are going to be a 2.8 aperture or better. Some of the really expensive ones are like 1.2, which is when you get that very blurred out background. The more light you're letting in, the lower the aperture, the more bokeh or bokeh, or whatever it's called, blurred background you're gonna have in the back. So prime lenses allow you to do that, which they're great for like photography in my opinion, portraits, but for golf content creation, I just think having the ability to have different focal lengths really helps with telling a story. But if you do have to choose a prime lens, I would try to get something wide. Now, I know there are some cinema style cameras that have like 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter prime lenses, which are awesome. It's just, again, if you have the ability to choose something like with a wider focal length range, like a 18 to 55 or something, I would go with that just so you could get a more wider variety of shots. So regardless, for zoom lenses, which is what I would suggest, you got a ton of options. Personally, I love the 16 to 35 for pretty much everyday life, for vlogging, for just walking around with, because it's super wide and you can punch in a little bit to 35 millimeter because regardless, you're not really needing to shoot anything tight anyways, so that 16 to 35 millimeter allows you to get the whole picture and it's always gonna be super clear. You're setting up a tripod usually 5 to 10 feet behind yourself, so having it super wide allows you to get those grid lines, get the subject inside the grid lines so that you can punch down for TikTok and Reels. That's the biggest thing. You want to be able to have the full frame of landscape and the subject in one picture. So having something wide like a 16 to 35, it allows you to get everything in frame, and then if you do have to punch in a little bit, you can do that. But again, have those grid lines up and make sure the subject is in the middle so that you can repurpose that footage for TikTok Reels, all that kind of stuff. But if you saw my reel that I posted recently, the camera lens that I use all the time, 90% of the time, is my 24 to 70. This is because I like doing a little bit more cinematic style. So I do like being able to punch in to a tight focal length when I need to capture detail shots. So if you are starting out and you need a camera lens for golf content creation, just try to make sure you get something wide. Now, if you have the ability to get like a 24 to 105, which is usually what a kit lens comes with or is paired with when you buy a camera, that should be the best of both worlds. This will allow you to get, the wide shots of you hitting the ball. And then if you do want to punch in, or if you do have to shoot from far away, you're able to punch in all the way up to 105 millimeters. Again, at the end of the day, when you're buying a camera lens for golf content creation, make sure you're going wide to start. Always get something wide. If it has the ability to punch in more, great. But if you have to choose something, if it's between like a 70 to 200 millimeter or a 14 to 30 millimeter, take the 14 to 30 millimeter. Always go wide because you need to be able to capture everything. You don't want to film and have half your body cropped off. You want to capture the whole picture, the whole body, and be able to punch it in for TikTok, for Reels. You want to be able to repurpose that footage. So if you're going out buying a new lens, remember these tips. Comment below if you're going to be buying, if you have any questions regarding a lens. These are big purchases, so make sure you know what you're doing. If you have any questions, comment below and I'll make a video talking about it. And if you did buy a camera lens recently, comment below. Let me see what you got. Tell me what you got and I'll tell you what I think about it, because this stuff I love it so much. As always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for more camera tips, more video tips. If you have any questions regarding video content creation, let me know below and I'll be sure to make videos addressing it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.